Welcome back to the channel where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden errors, and unexpected treasures that might just be sitting in your rarest coins. Today we're focusing on a coin that many people overlook, one that seems ordinary at first glance but could actually be worth an incredible amount of money. I'm talking about the 1979 D. Washington quarter. Now here's where things get exciting. One of these quarters, under extremely rare circumstances, is believed to have sold in a private transaction for up to $1.5 million. That's right. A 25-cent coin worth more than most homes. You're probably thinking, how is that even possible? What makes this coin so valuable? Is there a chance you might have one? Well, let's break it all down. We're going to go over the history of the 1979 D quarter, the errors that drive up its value, and what makes one particular version so incredibly rare and valuable. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse, or front of the coin, features a left-facing bust of Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan. This design remained on U.S. quarters for decades. By the time we get to 1979, the quarter had already undergone a major change in composition. The U.S. Mint had removed silver from circulating quarters back in 1965, switching to a copper-nickel clad composition. So the 1979 D quarter is not silver, but it still holds major interest for collectors, especially when errors are involved. Now, what does the D mean? The letter D is the mint mark, and it stands for the Denver Mint. In 1979, the Denver Mint produced over 489 million Washington quarters. That's a huge number. So generally speaking, a regular 1979 D quarter in circulated condition is not rare and is only worth face value. But as any coin collector knows, within those hundreds of millions, a few extremely rare coins slip through the cracks. Coins with unusual errors or special characteristics that can make them worth hundreds, thousands, or in one legendary case, even over $1 million. But let's talk about the types of errors that can make a 1979 D quarter valuable. The first is a double die error. This happens when the die that strikes the coin shifts slightly, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. You can often spot this in the lettering, such as the word Liberty or In God We Trust. If you notice doubling on the date or the mint mark, you could be holding a valuable piece. The next error is a coin struck on the wrong planchet. This means the quarter was struck on a blank intended for another coin, like a penny, a nickel, or even a foreign denomination. These planchet errors are rare but real, and depending on the metal and size, they can make the coin look completely different. A 1979 D quarter struck on a foreign or experimental planchet, especially one made of silver or an unusual alloy, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars or more. There are also off-center strikes, where the coin is misaligned during minting. The more off-center it is, the more valuable it becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Now let's get to the big one. The story that's captured the imagination of collectors across the world. There is strong speculation in numismatic circles that a 1979 D. Washington quarter was mistakenly struck on a leftover silver planchet from a previous minting run. According to reports, this particular coin not only had a silver appearance and a heavier weight than the standard clad quarter, but it also displayed incredibly sharp details and was preserved in pristine mint condition. The coin was eventually certified by a major grading service and believed to have been sold in a private collector-to-collector deal for as much as $1.5 million. This was not just a silver planchet error. It was also in near-perfect condition, possibly graded MS-69 or MS-70, which is extremely rare for a coin that wasn't intended to be collected. That combination of factors, wrong metal, perfect preservation, and extreme rarity, turned an ordinary-looking coin into a numismatic legend. So how do you know if you've got a 1979 D quarter worth more than face value? Here are a few steps you can take. Step 1. Check the coin's edge. A normal clad quarter has a copper-colored edge. If your quarter looks silver on the edge with no copper stripe, that's a clue it could have been struck on a silver or off-metal planchet. Step 2. Weigh the coin. A regular 1979 D quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If it weighs closer to 6.25 grams, you might be holding a silver planchet error. If it weighs significantly more or less than expected, It could have been struck on a wrong planchet altogether. Step 3. Inspect the coin for doubling. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe to examine the lettering and numbers. Look closely at Liberty, the date, and In God We Trust. Any signs of doubling could mean a double die error, which can increase the coin's value dramatically. Step 4. Look at the overall condition. The fewer scratches, dings, or signs of wear, the better. A coin that looks fresh, sharp, and lustrous could be in uncirculated or even mint state condition. That's where serious value starts to build. That if you believe you've found a coin with any of these characteristics, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can permanently reduce its value. Instead, place it in a soft coin holder and consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These grading companies can verify authenticity, assign a grade, and help you determine whether your coin has significant market value. Now, even if you don't find the million-dollar version, don't be discouraged. Other varieties of the 1979 D quarter are still valuable. Coins with minor errors, high grades, or unique traits can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And here's something many collectors love about this hobby. It's not just about money. Every coin tells a story. A 1979 D quarter has been through years, sometimes decades of circulation. It may have been used in gas stations, movie theaters, bus rides, or even passed through the hands of thousands of people across the country. But among all those coins, a handful, maybe even one or two, are hiding a secret. A rare error, a different composition, a perfect strike. And it's waiting to be discovered. So next time you get change at the store or dig through your old coin jar, take a closer look. That ordinary-looking 1979 D quarter might just be something extraordinary. Maybe even the next record-breaking find. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable errors, and hidden treasures in your pocket, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Have you ever found a rare coin? Do you have a 1979 D quarter with unusual features? Let us know in the comments. Your story could inspire others on the same journey. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, not all treasure is buried. Some of it is right in your hand. Would you like this script turned into a video outline with suggested visuals, chapters, or narration cues? I can prepare that too. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins that could be worth a fortune and may just be hiding in your pocket change right now. Rarest coins. Today we're talking about the 1971 Washington quarter. A coin that seems like nothing special to most people, but actually holds incredible secrets. Secrets that have made some versions of this coin worth hundreds, thousands, and in one extraordinary case, possibly up to $1.6 million. Now I know that sounds unbelievable. How could an old quarter from the early 70s be worth over $1 million? That's what we're about to uncover. So grab your change jar, sit back, and let's dive into the history, the errors, and the hidden value of the 1971 Washington quarter. Let's begin with the background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 as a commemorative coin to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its design was created by John Flanagan, and it features the familiar left-facing bust of George Washington on the front, or obverse, of the coin. This design became a staple in American currency and stayed relatively unchanged for decades. Now fast forward to 1971. The United States was going through economic shifts. Silver was officially removed from circulating coins just a few years earlier. By 1971, quarters were made entirely of copper and nickel, what's known as a clad composition. So unlike older quarters from the early 60s and before, the 1971 quarter contains no silver content. That's an important point, but it doesn't mean these coins have no value. In fact, under the right conditions, they can be worth a massive amount of money. Let's talk mintage for a moment. In 1971, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 109 million Washington quarters. That's a huge number. So in general, circulated 1,971 quarters without errors or rare traits are only worth their face value. But as we all know in coin collecting, not all coins are created equal. Hidden within these millions of coins are a few rare gems. Coins with unique mint errors, special conditions, or extremely high grades. And when these rare factors align, the value of a single coin can shoot through the roof. And that brings us to the reason you're here. The legendary 1971 Washington quarter that is believed to have sold in a private transaction for a staggering $1.6 million. Before we explore that coin, let's talk about what makes any 1971 quarter valuable. First, condition. Like all coins, the Washington quarter is graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A grade of 70 means the coin is in perfect, uncirculated condition. Most 1971 quarters you find in circulation today are scratched, worn down, and heavily used. These are common and worth only 25 cents. But if you find a coin in near-perfect condition, say graded MS66, MS67, or even higher, its value begins to rise significantly. Some high-grade examples of 1971 quarters have sold for several $100s at auction. Next up, let's talk about errors. This is where things get really interesting. Mint errors are mistakes that happen during the coin-making process. These can include things like double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, wrong metal compositions, and more. The rarer and more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. One of the most well-known errors for 1971 quarters is the off-metal strike. This happens when a quarter is accidentally struck on a blank mint for another coin, like a penny or a foreign denomination. For example, a 1971 quarter struck on a copper penny planchet will look reddish in color and weigh less than it should. These coins are highly collectible and can sell for thousands of dollars depending on the grade. Then there are double die errors. These occur when the coin die shifts slightly between strikes, creating a doubled image on the coin. If you ever notice doubling on the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust, you might be looking at a valuable double die error. Now let's get to the story that has fascinated collectors for years. There have been unconfirmed but consistent rumors in the numismatic world about a 1971 Washington quarter that was struck on a pure silver planchet leftover from the pre-1965 silver coin era. According to reports, this coin was not only struck on the wrong metal, but was also found in nearly perfect condition, possibly MS69 or MS70. Combine the rarity of the silver planchet error with the near-perfect grade, and you have something that borders on priceless. The story goes that this coin was purchased by a private collector in a confidential deal for approximately $1.6 million. Whether or not this exact figure is accurate, it's clear that the coin was incredibly rare, possibly one of a kind, and valued accordingly. In the world of high-end collecting, rarity and perfection command top dollar. And when you have a coin that exists in a class all by itself, collectors will pay whatever it takes to own it. So what should you be looking for in your 1971 quarters? First, check the mint mark. Quarters from 1971 that were minted in Philadelphia do not have a mint mark. Coins from Denver will have a small D on the right side of Washington's ponytail. Either version can be valuable depending on condition and errors. Next, check the coin's condition. If it looks shiny, sharp, and shows no wear, you might have an uncirculated coin. That's a good start. Now examine the details. Look closely at the lettering, the date, and the mint mark. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. If you see any signs of doubling or misalignment, you might have a double die error or an off-center strike. Also weigh the coin. A standard 1971 clad quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If the weight is significantly higher or lower, the coin might have been struck on the wrong planchet. That's when things get exciting. If you find a coin that you think might be special, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can reduce or destroy its value. Instead, protect it in a soft holder and consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grading can add a lot of legitimacy and value to the coin if it turns out to be rare. Even if you never come across the million-dollar version, high-grade and error coins from 1971 are still out there. They could be sitting in a forgotten drawer, a coin jar, or even in circulation. The next time you're sorting through your spare change, don't ignore those old quarters. That 1971 Washington quarter might just be the key to your own treasure story. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more coin history, hidden gems, and unbelievable finds that could be sitting right under your nose. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you have a 1971 quarter with unusual features. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest surprises. Let me know if you'd like visuals, timestamps, or to turn this into a series covering quarters by year. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where we talk about the hidden value of everyday coins that could be worth life-changing money. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history, the 1965 Washington Quarter. Now, you've probably seen this coin 1,000 times. It's old, it's common, and millions of people carry it without giving it a second thought. But here's the twist. There's one version of the 1965 Washington Quarter that is rumored to have sold in a private deal for a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. That's right, $1.9 million for a quarter. A coin most people would spend on a pack of gum or drop into a vending machine without a second thought. So how is that even possible? Let's take a deep dive into the history, the value, the rare errors, and exactly what to look for in your pocket change. Because, believe it or not, one of the most valuable coins in America might still be floating out there today. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin features a profile of Washington on the front and, originally, a bald eagle with spread wings on the reverse. It quickly became one of the most iconic and widely used coins in American currency. Now here's where things get interesting. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But by the early 1960s, the rising price of silver made producing coins out of real silver too expensive. So in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a historic change. They removed silver from quarters completely and introduced a new composition made of copper and nickel called clad coinage. From that point on, standard quarters were no longer made with silver, but transitions are never perfect. And that's exactly where the mystery and the money begins. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins during the mid-1960s, and while the changeover to clad coins was supposed to be clean and absolute, a few silver planchets, that is, blank silver coins intended for the earlier 1964 minting, accidentally got mixed into the 1965 production line. That means a very small number of 1,965 quarters were struck on 90% silver blanks. These are now known as transitional error coins, and they are some of the most sought-after and valuable coins in existence. That a standard 1965 clad quarter weighs 5.67 grams. But a 1965 quarter struck on a silver planchet will weigh about 6.25 grams. That small difference in weight, combined with the visual look of the metal, can be the key to identifying a potentially million-dollar mistake. Oh, how did one of these coins end up being worth $1.9 million? According to collectors and coin dealers, one of the rarest and most valuable examples of a 1965 silver transitional error quarter was discovered in uncirculated condition. The coin was not only struck on a silver planchet, but also displayed nearly flawless detail, with full mint luster and a mirror-like surface. In coin collecting, rarity is everything. But rarity combined with perfect condition? That's the dream. That's what pushes a coin from being worth a few $1,000s to being worth nearly $2 million. This specific coin is believed to have been sold in a private transaction to a high-end collector who wanted to own one of the rarest errors in modern coinage history. And while the details of the deal are confidential, the figure of $1.9 million has circulated for years in numismatic circles. But this isn't just about one coin. There are still a few 1965 silver quarters out there that haven't been found yet. Coins that could be sitting in a coin jar, in a drawer, or even in someone's pocket right now. So how do you know if you have one? Here's what to look for. First, check the date. The coin must say 1965. No mint mark is fine. In fact, most 1965 quarters do not have a mint mark because the mint temporarily removed them during that time to discourage hoarding. Second, weigh the coin. This is crucial. A silver quarter from before 1965 should weigh approximately 6.25 grams. A standard copper-nickel clad quarter from 1965 weighs about 5.67 grams. That difference of just over half a gram can mean the difference between 25 cents and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Use a digital jewelry scale that reads to the hundredth of a gram for the most accurate results. Next, look at the edge of the coin. A regular clad quarter will show a brownish or copper-colored edge. A silver coin will have a solid, bright edge with no copper stripe. If your 1965 quarter has a solid silver-colored edge and weighs more than 6 grams, you may have something very special. Also, look closely at the coin's surface. A silver coin has a different sheen than clad coins. It often looks more matte or frosty rather than shiny. But remember, cleaning a coin can ruin its value. Never polish or scrub it. Always keep it in its original state. That if you suspect you have a silver 1965 quarter or any other era coin, don't take it to just any pawn shop or coin dealer. Instead, submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will certify and encapsulate the coin, giving it an official grade and authenticity that can dramatically increase its market value. Now, even if you don't find the legendary million-dollar error, don't get discouraged. Other valuable varieties of the 1965 quarter exist as well. Double-die errors, off-center strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet can all bring in serious money. Some of these errors can range in value from a few hundred to several $1,000s, depending on the condition and rarity. And remember this, coin collecting is about more than just the money. It's about history. It's about discovery. Every coin in your hand has passed through countless people, traveled across cities, maybe even across generations. And every once in a while, one of those coins turns out to be a forgotten treasure waiting to be rediscovered. So the next time you're counting your change, take a second look. That 1965 Washington quarter might be more than just pocket money. It could be a piece of American history worth over $1 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin stories, collecting tips, and unbelievable finds. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're hunting for one now. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep searching, and remember, treasure doesn't always come in gold. Sometimes it comes in the form of a humble little quarter from 1965. But would you like a version of this script tailored for visuals, subtitles, or broken into chapters for editing ease? I can help with that too. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you're new here, my name is Insert Your Name. And today we're diving into a coin that could quite literally change your life. I'm talking about the 1983 P. Washington quarter, a coin that most people would walk past without a second glance. But what if I told you that this simple 25-cent piece from 1983 could actually be worth up to $1.2 million in the right condition? Sounds insane, right? Well, this is one of those rare stories in the world of coin collecting where history, rarity, and condition all align to create something truly extraordinary. So sit back, grab that old change jar you've been meaning to sort through, and let's talk about what makes the 1983 P quarter so special. We're going to walk through the history of this coin, why it's so unique, and exactly what you should be looking for if you hope to find one of these treasures hiding in plain sight. Let's jump in. First, let's talk about the background. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. It was originally designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The obverse of the coin features a bust of Washington himself, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. For decades, this design didn't change much, and by 1983, it was still going strong. Now here's where things start to get interesting. The 1983 P. Washington quarter was minted in Philadelphia. That's what the P stands for. And that year, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 673 million quarters. That is a massive number. So naturally, you'd think a coin from a mintage that high wouldn't be rare at all. But the truth is, the 1983 P quarter is a bit of a hidden gem in the coin collecting world. Why? Well, it all comes down to quality and timing. In 1982 and 1983, the United States Mint faced significant budget cuts. As a result, no official mint sets were produced in those years. That means collectors didn't have easy access to pristine examples of coins from those years. The only way to get a 1983 P quarter was to pull it straight from circulation. And let's be real, once a coin enters circulation, it gets banged up pretty fast. Nicks, scratches, wear and tear, all of that devalues the coin from a collector's perspective. So today, finding a 1983 P quarter in top condition is incredibly difficult, especially one that's uncirculated or graded MS67 or higher. And that's just the beginning. Now let's talk about the million-dollar question. How could a 1983 P. Washington quarter be worth as much as $1.2 million? There are two major reasons. First, extreme rarity in top condition. Second, very specific and dramatic minting errors that let's break that down. First, high-grade examples. The grading scale for coins goes from 1 to 70. Anything above 60 is considered mint state, meaning the coin hasn't been in circulation. When you get into MS66, MS67, and beyond, that's when prices start to skyrocket. An MS67 1983 P quarter has sold at auction for several $1,000s. An MS68, if it ever surfaces, could potentially break records, and it might even attract a millionaire collector willing to pay over $1 million just to own the finest known example. Second, mint errors. Now this is where things really heat up. Point one of the most famous types of 1983 P quarter errors is what's called the double die reverse. This is when the die that strikes the coin has a doubled image, creating a shadow effect on the letters and design. On the 1983 P quarter, you can sometimes see doubling on the word E pluribus unum on the reverse side. If you find a clean example of that, especially in uncirculated condition, it could be worth thousands of dollars, even tens of thousands. Another famous error is the quarter struck on the wrong planchet. There are reports of 1983 quarters struck on copper penny blanks or foreign coin planchets. If you ever come across a 1983 P quarter that looks oddly colored or feels too light or too heavy, it could be one of these ultra-rare minting mistakes. Coins like this have been known to sell for 5 or 6 figures, depending on their uniqueness and condition. But here's the kicker. There are rumors, and some whispers in the numismatic community, about a privately held 1983 P quarter with multiple overlapping errors and a pristine mint state condition. According to those close to the story, this coin is one of a kind, and a private collector may have paid up to $1.2 million for it. Now, because it was a private sale, this has not been confirmed in a public auction. But where there's smoke, there's often fire. And with the right error and the right grade, a coin like that could absolutely command 7 figures in the right market. Oh, now you're probably wondering, what should you be looking for if you want to find one of these hidden treasures? Here's what to do. Start by examining every 1983 P quarter you find. Look at the details. Check for doubling on the reverse side, especially on the text. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe to really see what's going on. Next, pay attention to the condition. Sharp edges, clean fields, no major scratches. Those are signs of a coin that's been preserved well. If you think your quarter could be uncirculated, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Also check the weight. A normal quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If it weighs more or less than that, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet, which means it could be a valuable error coin. And above all, be patient and stay curious. Most people go through their entire lives never thinking twice about the coins in their pockets. But for those of us who know what to look for, every coin is an opportunity. In the world of coin collecting, knowledge is power. And sometimes, that knowledge can turn a regular coin into $1 million payday. The next time you get change at the store, take a moment to look closely. Because that ordinary-looking quarter might just be your ticket to $1.2 million. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or just fascinating, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, collecting tips, and hidden treasures you might already own. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a 1983 P quarter or any coin with a cool error. I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking your change. Would you like me to add visual suggestions, transitions, or split it into YouTube chapters? Let me know how you're planning to use it. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins, where we uncover the hidden value of everyday coins you might be carrying right now. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked about and mysterious quarters in recent years, the 1995 D. Washington quarter. A coin so common, most people would never give it a second thought. But here's the twist. Under very rare and specific conditions, one of these coins is rumored to have sold for as much as $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.4 million for a 25-cent coin. Now, before you run off to check your pockets or your change jar, let's explore what makes the 1995 D quarter so fascinating. We're going to cover the history, the mintage numbers, the possible errors that make this coin valuable, and what you should be looking for to spot a rare one. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. It was introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design we're familiar with was created by sculptor John Flanagan. His portrait of Washington on the obverse side of the coin became iconic and stayed largely unchanged for decades. In 1995, the United States Mint in Denver produced the 1995 D Washington quarter. That D stands for the Denver Mint. This year saw a very large production run. In fact, the Denver Mint struck more than 1.1 billion of these coins. That's billion with a B. So with that kind of mintage, how could one of these quarters be worth anything more than face value? Here's where it gets interesting. Just because a coin is common doesn't mean there aren't rare exceptions. Within every massive batch of coins, there are a few that slip through the cracks with extraordinary traits: minting errors, misstrikes, wrong planchets, or simply perfect condition. And when one of these rare errors is combined with an extremely high grade, that's when you have something truly special. Let's talk about condition first. Coin collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70. Anything above 60 is considered mint state. Most coins you find in circulation grade far below that due to wear and tear from everyday use. But every now and then, someone finds a coin that was barely touched. No scratches, no dings, no damage. These high-grade coins can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A 1995 D Washington quarter in MS67 condition, that's mint state 67, can already sell for hundreds. If it reaches MS68 or higher, it becomes extremely rare and very desirable to collectors. But what pushes a coin like this into million-dollar territory? That brings us to mint errors. One of the most valuable types of coin errors is called a double die. This happens when the die that stamps the coin shifts slightly, causing the image or lettering to appear doubled. On a 1995 D quarter, a true double die error is incredibly rare, but if you find one, especially in high-grade condition, you could be holding a small fortune. Another type of valuable error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be off the edge or missing. These off-center errors can be worth a lot, especially if the date and mint mark are still fully visible. Then there's the most dramatic error of all, a wrong planchet strike. This means the quarter was accidentally struck on a coin blank intended for another denomination, like a dime or a foreign coin. These coins look strange. They might be thinner, smaller, or a different color. If you find a 1995 D quarter that looks and feels odd, especially if the weight is off, you might be holding one of these rare mistakes. And that leads us to the big rumor. There's talk in the numismatic community about a 1995 D quarter that combines multiple rare features. The story goes that this particular coin was struck on a foreign planchet, had a visible double die error, and was preserved in pristine mint state condition, possibly even MS70, which is a perfect grade. According to reports, it was sold in a private transaction for an astonishing $1.4 million. Now, while this sale hasn't been confirmed by public auction records, similar coins with rare errors and high grades have sold for tens of thousands. If a coin combines multiple ultra-rare features, and there's only one of its kind, then yes, it could absolutely command a seven-figure price tag from a serious collector. So how can you tell if your 1995 D quarter might be valuable? Start by checking the coin carefully. Look at the word Liberty. Look at In God We Trust. Look at the year and the mint mark. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loop. If any of the lettering or numbers appear doubled or have shadow-like outlines, you might have a double die error. Check the condition of the coin. Does it have strong, sharp details with little to no wear? That's a good sign. Coins that are bright, clean, and uncirculated are the ones that typically hold the highest value. If you have a coin that looks off in shape, color, or weight, it could be a wrong planchet. A normal quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin is significantly lighter or heavier, that's a major clue. Also, keep an eye out for coins that are misaligned or off-center. As long as the date and mint mark are visible, these can be highly valuable too. Now, if you think you've found something special, here's what to do next. Do not clean the coin. Cleaning it can lower or even destroy its value. Put the coin in a soft holder or a plastic flip to protect it. Then consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will verify the coin's authenticity, grade it, and give you documentation you can use to sell it or keep it as an investment. Even if your coin doesn't reach the mythical $1 million level, there are still plenty of 1995 D quarters out there worth real money. Coins with minor errors and decent condition can still sell for hundreds. And if you do happen to find that 1 in a billion coin with the right errors and perfect condition, it could be life-changing. So don't ignore the change in your pocket. That ordinary-looking quarter could be anything but ordinary. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting or helpful, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos on rare coins, valuable errors, and tips for spotting hidden treasure in everyday change. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin or if you've got a 1995 D quarter that might be worth a second look. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, the next $1 million coin might already be in your hands. If you'd like a version with chapters, suggested visuals, or a script tailored for a specific audience like beginners or experienced collectors, let me know and I'll tailor it for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're into coins, collectibles, or just love hearing stories about unexpected treasures, then you're in for a good one today. We're going to talk about a coin you've probably seen 100 times before, maybe even used to buy a snack or feed a parking meter. But this time, we're not just talking about any quarter. We're talking about the 1990 D Washington quarter. And believe it or not, under the right conditions, one of these coins has been rumored to be worth up to $1.3 million. That's right. $1.30? No, $1.3 million. That's the kind of change you don't toss in a jar or leave in your car's cup holder. So let's break it all down. We're going to explore the history of this coin, what makes it special, how errors play a major role, and how to know if the 1990 D quarter in your pocket might just be your lucky ticket to a life-changing discovery. Let's get started. First, a little background on the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932, originally to celebrate the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. The design we all know and recognize today features a left-facing bust of Washington on the front of the coin. This design was created by sculptor John Flanagan, and it remained basically unchanged for decades. It became such a familiar part of American life that people stopped noticing it. Now jump ahead to 1990. The Denver Mint, which is identified by the letter D just below the bust on the right side, produced over 927 million quarters that year. That's almost a billion coins. So at first glance, there's nothing rare or special about a 1990 D quarter. In fact, most of them in average circulated condition are still only worth their face value, 25 cents. But don't be fooled by the numbers, because buried among those hundreds of millions are a few coins that are anything but ordinary, and one of them? It might be worth over $1 million. Let's talk about why. First, condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. The grading scale runs from 1 to 70. Anything above 60 is considered uncirculated or mint state. Most coins that have been used in circulation get banged up, scratched, and worn down. That's normal. But occasionally, someone finds a coin that looks like it just came off the press. No wear, no nicks, no handling marks. And when that happens, the value can jump dramatically. In fact, high-grade 1990 D quarters, those graded MS-67 or higher, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. But here's the thing. That's still not even close to $1.3 million. So what makes one of these coins worth that much? The answer lies in minting errors and ultra-rare anomalies. Let's talk about mint errors for a minute. Most of the time, coins are made with precision and consistency. But every now and then, something goes wrong in the minting process. Maybe the coin is struck off-center. Maybe it's struck multiple times. Maybe the planchet, that's the blank metal disc used to make the coin, is wrong altogether. When something like this happens, the result is an error coin. And collectors absolutely love error coins. Now let's bring it back to the 1990 D quarter. There are a few known mint errors from that year that make this coin incredibly valuable. One of the rarest is the quarter struck on a foreign planchet. That means a blank mint for another country's coin somehow made its way into the U.S. mint's production line. Imagine a U.S. quarter struck on a thinner or differently colored metal, or with a completely different weight. These kinds of errors are extremely rare and highly collectible. Another error involves a double strike, where the coin is struck twice by the press, but slightly offset. This causes a shadow effect or ghost-like doubling of the images and letters. If you ever come across a 1990 D quarter with clear doubling on the word Liberty or the date, you could be holding something very rare. Then there's the holy grail of error coins, the wrong planchet and a high grade. Rumors have circulated for years about a 1990 D quarter that was struck on a gold-colored foreign coin planchet, then preserved in perfect mint state condition, possibly MS-70. While it has never been publicly confirmed in a major auction, some insiders believe it was sold in a private deal for $1.3 million. The reasoning? It is possibly the only one of its kind. A coin like that would be the ultimate trophy piece for a wealthy private collector. Now, even if you don't find the million-dollar version, the good news is that there are still plenty of valuable 1990 D quarters out there. A perfectly preserved MS-67 coin with a known error could easily fetch thousands of dollars. Even common high-grade examples can be worth more than you think. So what should you be looking for? First, check the condition. If your coin looks shiny, clean, and crisp, with no visible wear or scratches, it might be uncirculated. That's your first clue. Next, look closely at the mint mark. It should be a clear D on the right side of Washington's ponytail. Any doubling or unusual mark near the D could point to an error. Then, examine both the front and back of the coin for doubling in the lettering. Look at Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the year 1990. On the back, check the words United States of America and quarter dollar. If anything looks shadowed or repeated, it might be a double die error. Also, weigh your coin if you have a digital scale. A standard 1990 D quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs more or less than that, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. And finally, if you think you have something special, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually ruin its value. Instead, place it in a soft holder or coin flip and send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will authenticate and grade your coin, and if it turns out to be the real deal, they can help you get it in front of collectors and auction houses. Wrap it up. The 1990 D Washington quarter might seem ordinary on the surface, but for those who know what to look for, it could be a gateway to a small fortune. Whether it's a rare error, a perfect condition specimen, or that one-in-a-billion anomaly, this coin proves that you never know what kind of treasure is hiding in your pocket change. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more rare coin stories. And if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin, share your experience in the comments. You never know who else might have found the same thing. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking your change. You might just be holding the next million-dollar coin. Let me know if you'd like a version with timestamps, voiceover cues, or editing suggestions for visuals. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're into coins, collectibles, or just curious about how a simple quarter could turn into a fortune, then you're in for a treat. Today, we're talking about the 1987 D Washington quarter. That's right, a 25-cent coin from 1987 that, under the right circumstances, could be worth as much as $1.1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, let's break it all down. We'll talk about its history, design, key errors, how to identify rare versions, and why some collectors are willing to pay a small fortune for it. So grab your coin jar, check your change, and let's dive right in. Section 1. The history of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. It was never meant to be a permanent design, but people loved it so much that it stuck around. And here we are, nearly a century later, still using it. The original design was created by John Flanagan, and it features George Washington on the obverse, or front, of the coin. On the reverse, we have a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches. It stayed that way until 1998 when the 50-state quarters program began. Now, the 1987 D quarter was minted in Denver, which is where the D mint mark comes from. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 655 million quarters. So, you might be asking, if there are so many of them, how could one be worth over $1 million? Well, that's where things get interesting. Section 2. The 1987 D quarter. Common or rare? Most 1987 D quarters are extremely common. In circulated condition, you'll probably only get face value, maybe 25 to 50 cents tops. Even in uncirculated condition, most 1987 D quarters sell for only a few dollars. But here's the catch. Not all coins are created equal. Some coins have minting errors, unique die varieties, or special conditions that make them stand out from the rest. And those rare coins? That's where the real money is. So when we hear about a 1987 D quarter selling for over $1 million, it's almost always because of something very specific, a rare mint error combined with a perfect grade, and of course, strong demand among collectors. Section 3. The $1.10 million story. Now let's talk about the million-dollar question. Where did the story come from about a 1987 D Washington quarter selling for $1.10 million? Well, this claim has been floating around online, on coin blogs, social media, and even in some newspaper headlines. But here's the truth. There is no widely documented public auction where a standard 1987 D quarter sold for exactly $1.1 million. However, that doesn't mean the coin can't be extremely valuable under the right circumstances. There are rumors of private sales involving rare error coins, such as double dies, off-center strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchets, like a quarter struck on a dime blank, or even a foreign coin blank. If one of these rare mint errors occurred on a 1987 D quarter and it was graded in perfect condition, say MS 68 or higher, then yes, it's entirely possible that a private collector might shell out a small fortune for it. Maybe not $1.1 million officially, but certainly tens of thousands, maybe even six figures. Section 4. What to look for in your change? So what should you look for if you want to strike gold, or rather, silver, with your 1987 D quarter? First, look at the condition. If it's heavily worn or scratched, it's probably only worth face value. But if it looks crisp, sharp, and clean, you might be onto something. Second, look for errors. Here are a few examples. Double die obverse. This means the front of the coin, George Washington's face, and the lettering appears to be doubled. It's most noticeable on the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" that off-center strikes. If the design is not centered and part of it is cut off, that's a major error and could be worth hundreds or even thousands. Wrong planchet errors. A quarter that was struck on a nickel or penny blank is incredibly rare and valuable. Clipped planchets. This is when part of the coin looks like it was bitten off. A clean clipped planchet can be very collectible. And third, grading. Coin grading is done on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 60 or higher is considered uncirculated. MS 65 and up is where the real value starts coming in. And MS 68 or MS 69 1987 D quarter with a rare error could attract huge attention at auction. Section 5. How to get your coin graded. If you think you have a rare 1987 D quarter, the first step is to stop using it as a regular coin. Put it in a soft holder or coin flip to protect it from damage. Then, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will authenticate, grade, and slab your coin, sealing it in a hard plastic case that includes its grade and description. Yes, it costs money to grade a coin, but if yours turns out to be something rare, that small investment could pay off big time. Section 6. Final thoughts and takeaways. So, can a 1987 D Washington quarter be worth $1.1 million? Technically, yes, if it's got the right error, perfect condition, and a collector willing to pay top dollar. But for most of us, that specific coin is like winning the lottery. Still, it's always worth checking your change. Every valuable coin out there started as a regular coin in someone's pocket. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to discover the next million-dollar find. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt. And sometimes, just sometimes, history and rarity collide in the most unexpected ways. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and let us know in the comments. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? Until next time, keep hunting and stay curious. Let me know if you want a shorter version, a voiceover style script, or if you'd like to include visuals or timestamps for a more structured video edit.